I had a tough love guru that's going to give you his perspective, whether you liked it or not. So I entertained that because what I was doing is, as I was overcompensating, I had the nice guy syndrome.
It's about your original blueprint and your original expression, that which you desire to bring in. So this week, did anything come up around holding yourself back, speaking differently, mm,
It
anything
did.
like
It
that?
did. I mean, it did. A lot of stuff around the speaking this week. A lot of stuff. You said you liked that last video. When I speak from the teleprompter is a skill, but when I speak without the teleprompter, I'm speaking just from the heart for the most part and with conviction for the most part and utilizing vocal variety in different ways. So a lot of that has been in my head this week.
That video that you made when I think it was last night that I listened to it, whatever. I definitely noticed a change in your cadence, and the message came out differently, even though the words were very similar to what you've said in other videos. And I thought to myself, that throat chakra is doing something.
So beautiful. So beautiful. So cool. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you for such a great video. And I'm also happy that this throat chakra work may have had something to do with that.
Yeah, I'm just super, super grateful for you and thankful for you. I can keep my brain pretty dang quiet. And I can listen to somebody I don't like. I can listen to somebody that's boring. I pride myself in that. That's my ego. And I said, I was listening to this one woman talk this one day, and I thought, oh my God, oh my God, she's still going. And then the next person shared after her, and she spoke from her heart. And when I listened to her, I could hear her effortlessly. And I think when you speak from your head, that's entirely different than speaking from your heart. And when you speak from your heart, that's a higher form of communication.
Yeah. Um, I took a I put my notebook here in case you didn't stop, so I wouldn't forget what I wanted to say. It's such a beautiful point that you're making about speaking from your heart, because the idea of sun spark coming second is that the throat is the bottleneck from speaking from your heart. So we have to open that up, even if your heart wants to do something, wants to speak or be authentic or whatever, the throat constricts if it's not prepared and open. So that's beautiful. And you will do work on the heart chakra in the fourth week. So your heart will be ready. All right. Well, let's look at those dreams then. Which dream really struck you?
That one right there.
Okay, in the dream, we'll give them feedback.
I think I'm going to train them.
Oh, okay. There's a woman, and the woman had done her pitch. What's a pitch? Like
That's
where
why I teach them how to remember words to sell something. So when I record them and then they watch the recording, they have an opportunity to see themselves. And then I can give them feedback on their recording.
Okay. Okay. And then the good-looking guy at the end had given her feedback, and what a great job she did. Nice. Well, the picture of the story and his feedback triggered to me. What triggered to me that she could do a great job? What does that mean, triggered?
I think what it meant was that oftentimes I let the audience give feedback. I try and teach them to give balanced feedback that's honest and sincere as opposed to vague. So specific feedback. And then I let the person give themselves feedback, then I'll clean up and give my perspective at the end. So this guy, when he gave her, said, well, you did a really good job, it triggered in me to want to reinforce that message.
Tell me, what do you mean I kind of tough loved him?
I tell somebody, I give them constructive feedback that might be hard for their ego to receive right now. And I tell them it's just my perspective. It doesn't mean it's accurate. But for people that think like me, it's accurate. So I'm just giving feedback how people with my psychological profile might perceive this situation. And you might not accept it now, or you might. So sometimes when I tell somebody something and they might have a sensitive ego, I'm taking a risk because their ego might reject the feedback, even though I tell them, "Are you open to feedback?" And they'll say yes. But just because they say it doesn't mean they are. So then when I give them the feedback, it can throw them into thinking into their head because it can make their ego defensive. That's what I meant by kind of tough loved him. I'm embracing the identity that I'm a leader of leaders, that I'm an orchestrator.
So it definitely is on the theme of the throat chakra because it's talking to give feedback and how something could happen that causes you to not be the best leader the way that you want to be. So we know that your thing is being a leader to leaders. In order to do that, you have to learn some new ways of communicating. So you're trying to step it up a level. What I'm seeing here is some of the ways that you communicate is not going to be good enough for this new level of leading leaders. One thing that struck me was you ask them, "Are you open for feedback?" Very well knowing that many people will say yes, and that doesn't mean that they are actually open. And it feels like asking someone that question is kind of a lose lose for someone because if they say, no, I'm not open, they're not ready to say that. They don't know how to say no because they have an ego or they haven't healed enough or whatever it is. So it's like you're putting them on a spot in a way that's not really fair. So I think the dream is pointing that out as a way for you to reflect and say, oh, okay, yeah, I can improve my communication style for leading people like this.
It's super interesting. Maybe I shouldn't give feedback anymore and force it on them. Maybe I should just ask them if any of you would like my feedback. I'd be happy to give it to you to change the way I've been doing it. Like in senior superlatives in high school, I won the friendliest. So I identified that I'm a friendly guy. I'm the guy that the girl doesn't want because I'm not the mean guy. I'm the friendly one. And then there's a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. In the 1980s, the women engineered nice guys. So the women raised the boys. And when they raised the boys, because the man was gone working, that was the model in the US. And they raised the boys and they made these nice guys, and nobody liked them because they never spoke their mind. They were always withholding information. They were always politically correct, holding the doors. And so in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, it resonated that there could be truth in that. So then I was overcompensating to be the asshole. Let's not be the nice guy. Let's be the asshole. Hey, listen, you talk too fast. Hey, you talk too much. I've had the gift of dissecting human psychology. So my friend called me up the other day and says, "Hey, I'm dying." And I said, "Well, I remember when you told me about 20, 25 years ago that when I could read people," he said, "don't do that." He said, "They don't like that." It makes them feel naked. For me to dissect their psychology, he said, "You were always right." Now, I'm not saying I was right, but he said that in this recent conversation. So the point is, in my life, I had this moment where I was the nice guy that just wanted to be seen. And then I started experimenting in the other direction based upon this one teacher I had for 20 years. So now, right now, where you find me in this week in this dream, I'm experimenting with that different communication style in my own head. Sorry for talking so much.
Oh, no, it's great. I mean, that gives me fodder, right? And that's what this is about. I want to hear what you have to say because that's the most important thing. I'm just listening and speaking back to you what I hear. So, couple of things. Let's talk about your communication style. The pendulum went way over on this side and now it's swinging over on this side, and you want to reach that balance. And that balance in your communication is what is natural, and it is not something that you read a book and it tells you ABC how to do it. And you know this, but it's going to be something that's there already, but you just have to practice the natural balance. The other thing is the reason this is so important is because you are now going to be communicating and reaching people who have no idea that they're a leader and they don't want to be a leader. They don't know what that is. They don't want anything to do with it. They are unhealed, depressed, sad, mean, angry, whatever. And that means that your message and your communication style is super important to reach those kinds of people. Now, if you're just trying to reach people like me who already know, yeah, I'm a leader, and like you can tell me all kinds of unfiltered feedback and like, okay, bring it on. I have a friend like that too. But the people who you're going to be reaching in order for you to fulfill your birth mission, they're not like this. So it's really important that you're learning that balance in communication and seeing people, being able to meet them where they are. And another thing that came through when you were talking was about letting people say what their own blocks and challenges are, leading them to it. That's you being a leader, right? So you're going to lead them to it so they can see it for themselves. The like people who haven't done as much work on themselves don't want somebody else to tell them what their problem is. So this dream really showed that and really worked on it and showed the consequence of coming in a little bit too hard. It's very black and white. Like there's a couple times you said, dude, either you're in or you're out. I literally had dreams where I would say that same thing in the past. And because of me being a physicist, I was very structured in my thinking. And I thought things had clear consequences. If you do this, then that happens. If you act this way, then therefore you are this kind of person. And I had to obviously unlearn all of that. And I think this is demonstrating not how you are really thinking, but the level at which the people that you're trying to reach and communicate with, that's the level at which they are.
Yeah, thank you so much. All super valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we have time to do a short dream if you want to do maybe this last one.
Sure.
Okay. There's a lot of communication, and there was a guy that was selling. It was in a different world, and I was making friends. Scholar European. Does that mean way back in the day? Or what
I'm
does that mean?
I'm
Scholar
thinking I
European.
think it was a different world, literally old school way, maybe traditional is what I'm thinking.
Okay. And then we're talking about driving. I was talking about how I had a forceful approach. Not that he wasn't nice, his little Asperger's.
It's almost like in my life, I think I would have people that were on the spectrum that were Asperger's, and they just didn't receive communication the same way, and I didn't think they were receiving it, but they were just a different wiring of a human being. So it's not like they're not nice. It's just this is their physiological, psychological way that they're set in this reality and dimension. So at times when I would have people on the spectrum and I wouldn't know they were on the spectrum, I might judge them that they weren't receiving the information or that they weren't sociable or not right for the position.
Okay. And then you've got the word nice in there too. So that kind of goes along with how you were talking about having to unlearn being the nice guy. Um, Let me just gonna tune into this a little bit more, but you're literally saying I have a forceful approach. So I think part of this dream is still some of the same message from that earlier dream, which that's going to happen because you were working on that particular thing. Let's see, I'm driving. Do you have are you exhausted or anything? Is there anything current about this? Like, do you feel like you're driving yourself too hard right now and you need to take a chill pill?
I mean, I have a lot going on in my life right now. I'm gonna get a hip surgery on the 24th. I'm, um, I'm gonna move. Haven't even begun packing or moving my house. I'm working on this YouTube course. I have an AI course, working on my spirituality, and so those are just a couple of the top of the mind things. So, um, I think I'm doing a great job emotionally regulating myself. Like I use the heart rate monitor, and every day I'm hitting these super high levels of coherence. So I'm still able to get my biological machinery and my hormonal state happy. And almost every night, ritualistically, I let go of any charge or resistance I have from the day. My goal is to maintain consciousness. And so I loved it when you said earlier that at the highest level, communication, it just is. It's like love. You don't have to try and love. Love is. You are love. Communication is. Whether you know it or not, you don't have to do anything. It just is a natural state of being. That's what I thought I heard you say. But I think being requires effort when you're fighting old automated patterns. It requires impulse control to let go of the old automated patterns to be. My goal is to be, if I want to be good to the planet, that's why I said letting go of ego ways of being so that I can be my soul in my body, so that I can be the greater part of what I am. And so that's top of my mind as much as I'm consciously capable of every single day, on top of all the other stuff I said I had going on, because I want to serve the creator. I'm here to serve. And by letting go of the old stuff, I'm a better channel, I think. If I have resistance and I'm coming from my ego, I don't channel as well.
Okay. So, yeah, I hear you on that. I think ultimately this is just sort of reflecting real life and how you've got a lot going on. And what I didn't hear in your answer when I asked that question was, how do you feel? It was like, oh, my monitor says I'm reaching this, and I'm emotionally handling everything, but I didn't feel like I feel great doing this or anything. So I would just say, like, make sure that your body feels good, and that if there is something that you can relax a little bit on, let that happen, because your body here on earth is the most, literally the most important thing. So,
While we're here, thank you. And I mean, the feeling is the thing that I've been really, really, I think the distillation earlier when I talked about the story, everything distills to a feeling. So I'm trying to have this hyper level of awareness of feeling and allow myself accept whatever I'm feeling so that I can understand it. So today I was listening to this music and I was listening to all these love songs that were cool, trendy, and beautiful, and singing them to myself and singing them to my soul. And I just had tears coming down my eyes, seeing myself in seminars, like just posting this on YouTube. Hey, this is what I want you to do. Take this song and sing it to yourself and sing it to your soul and love yourself. And so I was feeling like pure love an hour or two ago. Which and then there's other moments where I feel freaking pissed, and my job is just to love them both, just to love them both equally, and just love the human experience. To completely embrace my humanity and embrace. And so my job is just to feel. So that's top of my mind is to feel, and if I want to regulate my feeling, I don't want to short circuit the jealousy I'm feeling or the scarcity I'm feeling, because if I jump straight to regulating, I'm leaving an anchor there. So I want to move that feeling through me. If my life, compartmentalizing life as a professional, sometimes you have to override a feeling and come back to it. But if life allows me to, I'm going to feel it now and move it through me and then regulate myself back up to the higher vibration. And so that's kind of like the strategy I'm taking at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, the like making sure that you have awareness of all of those little things, not even little, but all of those like little tinges of jealousy or pushing yourself too hard, how all of those show up for you, and then making sure that you're not suppressing it while staying grounded. So, yeah, you're doing the practice.
Yeah, thank you. And so I think, like, for me, one of the things I totally value is that this dream world is just as real as this world. And when there's so many different renditions of the veil, of what people believe the veil is. And I think they're all accurate, but one obvious veil is the separation between this world and the dream world. And as a person opens up that door, um, that's automatically a hack or a highway for hyperdimensional information to flow into this dimension. You know what I mean? And new dimensional information to flow in and reorganize and the biological machinery. And so that's kind of like the way I look at it. I think that you are a critical ingredient in the formation of my path. And so that's why I'm super honored for you to give me this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And I'm super honored that you took the opportunity. So, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.